And these are the morphological processes.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have one more question related to this
Please go
infixes.
ahead, as many
Yes, yes.
questions as
So in
possible.
yes, so in Sanskrit, if the word is kathayati means to tell or to narrate, so there T is a ending which we use. For example, in German we add arbeitet, so et is the ending. So in the same way, kathayati, the T is ending and katha is the root verb, and ya is added in between. So can we call it infix?
No, no, no. Why? That's a very good question. So T is the what is the verb root? The verb root would be kathan, kathan, right?
Katha. Only
katha is the verb root. So any other morpheme that has been stacked or attached to it would be counted as affixes. So et is going to be considered as prefix or suffix. Think about it.
Ma'am, not iti, yati, ya. Katha, yati.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
And
the question here is, where do we get the ya? So that is primarily a phonological change that is happening because of the so go to the sandhi system that you have in Sanskrit.
Okay.
If you break it, what is the sandhi?
No, actually, it's not a sandhi. There are various vikarana, we call it. So there are various vikarana
forms of a word,
yes,
isn't
yes.
it?
So it belongs to 10th gana. There are ganas in which the Sanskrit verbs are divided. So if the verb is from 6th gana, then we add aya in between the ending and the root verb.
So that would be the phonological change that is happening. You are not going to call it so because of the last sound of katha and then the first sound of iti, I guess, if I'm not wrong. So then probably I have to find out and then let you know in the discussion forum what is actually how the phonological changes that are happening. But my basic understanding here would be this ya sound here that you get when you speak. It's not really an infix. Rather, this is the result of the phonological changes that have happened because of the word formation. Okay, so it's probably all together would make it here. It doesn't have anything with the affixation, right? It happens in such a in this way because of the the phonological system or the phonological changes that the word undergoes because of the combination of the last sound of the root word, last sound of the word root, and then the first sound of the next morpheme. So primarily, that's the reason why we are getting a ear sound out here, but that's not going to be considered as an infix, right?
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Good. That's a good question. But yes, I would get back to it with more detailing when maybe I'll put it in the discussion forum. By next week, I'll be slightly free.
Okay.
Then I'll talk about it. Okay. Any other question? In the meanwhile, what I'll do, I will go to until I get some new questions. There was a query about Indo-Aryan typology, right? So somebody asked for a suggestion of a book on Indo-Aryan typology. I would rather suggest a book that's a huge book. If you could see, this is Indo-Aryan Languages. It's an edited volume by George Cardona and Dhanesh Jain. It covers a lot, like quite a few. Total number of languages covered here at 23. 23 major Indo-Aryan languages have been covered here. Though you wouldn't find out the typological discussion, but you would, I think the participant wants to know primarily about Bengali, Hindi, and Assamese. We always refer to, before going to the typological books, probably it's my suggestion for you would be to refer to the books which are talking about the languages individually, and then the discussion is linguistic centric, not really the prescriptive grammar centric discussions you would have. So George Cardona and Dhanesh Jain has a very good book, and especially for Bengali, Assamese, and these two languages that the reader has highlighted. Suniti Chatterjee's book you can always refer to. That's something we all that's like a Bible to understand these Eastern Indo-Aryan languages and their grammatical constructions. So please refer to that. and comparatively, you would find this book a little more recent in publication. So please read Sunita Chatterjee's book and then this one, Cardona and Dhanesh Jain. So it would cover majority of the Indo-Aryan languages. And that is followed by certain discussions. I think this was your query probably, Advait. No. Did you ever put it in the discussion forum?
No.
Not really.
I haven't. Yes.
Yeah. So affix suppletion. There is a question on affix suppletion. I'll get back to it with more detail when I can write. But primarily, this is what we understand when we go for the verbal morphological complexities that languages have. In English, the phonological changes are not that prominent how it has been in our Indian languages. So when we a lot of, like, especially in the Sandhi system that we have in Sanskrit and other ancient Indo-Aryan languages, even if you talk about my own language, Odia, when we try to understand the Odia grammar, we do see phonological assimilations and a lot of phonological changes that happen when a certain like a certain kind of consonant gets linked to a certain kind of vowel. So please refer to, even if you are following the traditional grammar books, because not all the languages would have descriptive grammars in that sense. So please refer to traditional grammar books in that sense, and then look for what sort of phonological changes that happen when like in the like under the purview of the Sandhi system. So that would be easier for explaining to get the answers in that way. Okay, so that is where our verbal, like our morphological and phonological complexities, they come into play. Okay, Aditya, did we have any other particular question?
I don't think so. No, I shared the ones.
Okay, so that's the one.
Yes,
yeah, so there is a question, the same question. If Sanskrit is an Indo-Aryan language, then why does a language like Kannada that follows a similar agglutinative case marking system and has such a high number of loan words from Hindi and Sanskrit get classified as a Dravidian language? Okay, so here the question comes, the typology between Indo-Aryan and Dravidian languages. So this would require a lot of syntactic analysis, morphological and phonological analysis. Primarily morphology and phonology together, the interface of morphology and phonology would give you a clue how the Indo-Aryan languages are going to be different from the Dravidian ones. So probably I would maybe I'll just give a couple of more examples of affix suppletion when I can write, like when I can post it in the discussion forum. Okay, but one thing you need to remember is that our morphological marking or our morphological system is different from an Indo-Aryan language like a Germanic language like English. So phonology plays a vital role for us. All kinds of phonological processes or changes that it undergoes. Okay, what else? Yeah, please.
Yes, I have one question related to neutralization. Actually, not question. Can you please explain that concept once again?
Okay. Just a minute. I was trying to write something here. Let me see if I could write something. Okay, what are the examples that I gave there, so that if you can go to those examples, it will be, since I'm not able to write properly, what were the examples given? The elimination of certain features, right? So when you have a word like friendship, okay, so one is going to be friend, the other one is ship. What is the what is the last sound of friend?
No, and
refer to no. When you utter the word friend, do you say friend? Do you really have that kind of a
no?
Friendship. So
Yes,
ideally
yes.
it should be what? So the D sound is getting neutralized here or getting eliminated here.
Yes.
Isn't it? Yeah. So and that's just one simple example. We I think I did discuss that in one of the lectures. But then we also have okay. Let me just, one was friendship. The other one, I'll go to the this ones. How to go to another. Hi, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so sorry, I had to connect to the mobile data again. Okay, so we were talking about neutralization, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So one is going to be the and like when something is completely, sort of getting slashed from that phonological context. That would be one example which was given there. The other one is very common in English. Would be the difference between the t and then the d sound, because t and d, they would bring in very different words when you have, let's say, generally a common example that we get time and dime, right? So this st and d phonemic distinction, it's not really very common when especially they are used in the word medial sound. So when I say word medial, that means the t sound is occurring in the middle of the word. So let's say latter and ladder. So this, when you have latter, former and latter, so then the t sound, and then the ladder, that's going to be the d sound. This t and d phonological distinction, that's not very clear in like, as if you are not a native speaker of English, and when you hear, these are also called intervocalic sounds, t and d. So when you hear the t d distinction, it's not very clear for a non-native speaker, right? So that's the reason why very like many times you would find it difficult to distinguish between these vocalic sounds. So that is also going to be considered as a part of your neutralization process, right? So especially something that gets slashed from the word sequence, and also when the featural occurrences, let's say the place of articulation and then the manner of articulation that we talk about, when the articulation system that remains quite similar, it becomes slightly difficult for a non-native speaker of that language to identify the differences. I just gave you the example from English, but then it is also it can also happen to other languages. So think about your first language that you speak. Do you have certain sounds which are going because of the place of articulation that is same, or the manner of articulation that is same, they would sound similar to a non-native speaker? Can you think about something?
Yes, ma'am. There are. For example, in Sanskrit we say abja. So there might be a confusion to a non-native speaker that if I'm talking abja or a pja, so pa and ba both are bilabial.
It could be slightly different. Okay, so that's just a couple of examples which could be given. So primarily, the occurrence, like either the the place of articulation, manner of articulation, what kind of whether it is a high vowel or in case of the vowel sounds. In case of consonants, you have to pay attention to the place and manner. When you go to the vowels, you are going to talk about high versus low, long versus short. So these are the differences. Sometimes we find it a little difficult to recognize the difference between the sounds that they have. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. All right. Next, any other question? We just have two participants. The other participant, Vasant, I think. Are you going to ask something?
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
I'm just asking, I think, out of blue. Is there do we have the phonetic transcription and phonetic language in our course?
Transcription, these are the IPA things we're talking about. That is like standard. Anywhere you can find out. I think I have discussed it in one of the videos about how the consonant sounds and then the vowel sounds they get. What is the international standard to recognize?
Yes.
Through the symbols. And these are, but not all the sounds, the languages would have specific sounds for themselves. Let's say a dental sound like the would not be available in a language like English, right? So depending on the availability, depending on the languages that you speak, your language might have certain specific ones. And generally what we do, we use the diacritic markers for that. Okay, so when unfortunately, I'm not able to write this here. So there's some problem with the writing device. So what happens? So we generally have a diacritic marker like a dental sound. So when you have T, like we refer to the letter T, and then you put a diacritic marker down, which is a dental sound, would refer to the sound. That you wouldn't find in English. So IPA symbols are going to be different from language to language. But the idea here is that it has to be accepted universally. So if your language has certain sounds which are not found in a language like English, that has to be added to the list of IPAs, right? So that even if a person who is trying to, like, let's say you are learning a language and there are unique sounds which are available only in those languages. If you have a phonetic representation for that, if you have a sound used for that, and it has been recognized by the international standard, or by the international community, which we call International Phonetic Alphabet or Association. So that means even if you don't really know this language, you don't know the script of it, but at least if you know the symbols, it will be easier for you to find out. So IPS might vary from language to language, but what is important, it has to be recognized and it has to be accepted by the international community. So there is a whole association that works for it. They have a list of symbols, and let's say today a language which the world speaks some like 7,000 languages. So if you think that you have a particular language which is not listed, the sound is not listed in IPA, the community speakers can always get it registered and get it approved so that it would be a part of the list that the international community has accepted. Okay, so the whole idea behind IPA is that even if you don't know this language, you are not able to read their script, yet you can do the linguistic analysis of this language, or you can know about the language. This is what I say. I may not know the language, but I know about the language. And IPA plays an important, like IPA is a very strong tool to work on a particular language, even if you're not a speaker of that, right? But it has a standard international association that standardizes it, and that has and certain languages would have unique distinctive sounds which may not be available in a well-spoken language like, let's say, English. Okay, is that what your question was about?
Actually, I wanted to ask you that we have the phonetic sounds in English. So, is there in our course which you are teaching us online, do you transcript the English language into phonetics and phonetic language into English? Is there anything like that? That's
maybe I'm not able to understand the question. Then I thought you were asking about the IPA symbols. So, are you talking about the transcript of the lecture?
Yes.
Oh,
no, not the lecture, but just like if we have any sentences or anything like that, or if we have any words from phonetic language to English and English to phonetic language, the transformation of transcripting English.
You were talking about.
Ma'am, can I talk?
Yeah, please. No,
for example,
finish the question first.
Okay.
Did you finish the question?
Yes. This is about like if we take a word like exactly. So exactly is what we speak in English, and how we have to write it in phonetic language, or like if we take any phonetic
symbols, phonetic language, we don't really say that. You mean symbols.
Yes,
so you mean to ask any English word, how to write it using the phonetic symbols?
Is it in our course, or
no,
will you teach that to us or something like
I don't think so, because this course is about typology of languages. So I maybe just very briefly I'll talk about why I wouldn't why you shouldn't expect this to come from the course. This is when I say typology, what I said, we are going to compare languages, and the comparison can happen at 3 different domains or 3 different levels. One is at the word level, sound level, and then the sentence level. Your query is nested in the sound level, right? So when we are talking about phonetic typology, that means we are applying, or we are using certain phonetic tools to identify or to categorize certain types of languages. But to teach you how you transcribe a word would be even that's an important thing, but then it's a very basic and rudimentary concept. So once I expect the participants who registered for the course, they get an idea how the symbols look like, the IPA symbols, and it is internationally accepted. And once the example that you just gave, exactly. So what is the first sound? The first sound is a g, and then z. So once you know what is the g sound, how to write the z sound, how to write a, then k and t, then you can put it together. So this would be basics of phonetics, which my suggestion would be you refer to some very fundamental books like George Yule's book. You can refer to. Generally, we follow that in our institute for the basic preliminary course in linguistics. Aditya, what's the name of the book? I always refer to it as Yule's book, Introduction to Language, something like that.
Yes, ma'am. It's called The Study of Language, I believe. Study of Language by George Yule.
Yeah, by George Yule. So more than the title of the book is famous by its author. So please refer to Yule's book.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Also, there is another one, Athmogian, Damer, Farmer, and Harnish. which is another basic level book where there is a full-fledged chapter in phonology. So probably that would help you out once you know the symbols.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Advait, you wanted to say something?
No, I was going to explain her query so that.
Okay. Go ahead and tell me. Let's see what is that you.
No, but I think the query is clear. Like it is clear for her. So
yeah, so that's and that for that matter, it's just not English. You can actually transcribe any language. You can transcribe words in any given language. You talk about Odia, Bangla, Hindi, Marathi. Just take a word and then think about what are the symbols, because symbols are important here. What are the sounds, not symbols. So once you know what are the sounds, then you have the corresponding symbols to it. So just put it together. That's it. Let's say even let's think about an Indian language word. Probably maybe I'll just give me a word, any word. Let's say kitab. Kitab is book. So kitab can also be transcribed phonetically. So first, what is the first sound of kitab? It will be k, and then e, and then th, and th here would have a dental marker. So this is what I mentioned. Then a, and then b. So even if somebody doesn't know Hindi, should be able to understand what is written here if you use the IPA. And English is important for us because a lot of us are English teachers. And then most of the time we ask the students to follow the phonetic transcription so that the pronunciation is going to be clear. And considering students who are coming from my part of the country, like let's say the eastern part of the country, we have a lot of confusion about, ja and then ja and then ja and then sa and sha. So all these phonological differences can be discussed by using the phonetic symbols. Okay, so it's not just in English. You can bring in any language for that matter, and we can talk about that. Okay, all right, that's it. Yeah, Advait?
Yes, ma'am, that's it.
Okay. Any other question or any other concept that you would like me to address?
Let me check.
Yeah, please go ahead. We still have time, so if you have some queries, I can address. I don't see anyone available, so just check and get back to me.
Ma'am, it's not a query actually. In Marathi, I'm talking about reduplication. So when we say garam garam, and even someone says garam biram, that's also correct. Like some people might say that garam biram. So we can see that the same word have partial reduplication, that is echo words, and also the complete reduplication. So I just wanted to tell you that.
Okay. So reduplications are of two types, if you remember. So the two examples that you gave, garam garam, would be a full reduplication or complete reduplication.
Yes.
Okay. And when you say garam, what is the garam viram?
Garam viram. Yeah.
Okay. So that's going to come under the category of partial reduplication, or also we call it what is the other term for it, if you remember?
Echo words. Yes.
Yeah, echo words. So in echo words, what is happening? Either the spelling or a syllable is getting repetitive. So when you say garam, either in case of, let's say, I think I'll bring in an example first. A lot of Hindi speakers, when I was in Delhi, they would say picture victor. So picture victor dekh. So when you say picture, so the first one is per sound is getting reduplicated in the next word, victor. Victor doesn't really have any meaning as such. It's just an emphasizing, an assertion marking word. So when you say garam garam, for sure that is full reduplication, but you have to find out what is getting repeated here. So garam viram means viram or varam. What did you say? Viram. Garam
back.
Okay. So garam baram, when you say that, it's basically the first word, like the first sound that is getting repetitive, and it would come under the so what is remaining same, the the next, like the latter part of the word, that remains same. The change is happening at the initial part. So ga changes to ba, but ram that remains same. So so this one, the primary function remains as the assertion marking. So reduplication can have multiple functions, and one of these functions, so primarily two major functions. I don't clearly remember what I said in the video, but remember, either it will be assertion marking or it's going to be a distributive meaning. Okay, so when you say chai vai pilo, chai vai would be distributive, because anything related to chai is going to come under chai. It could be coffee, it could be Horlicks, it could be green tea, it could be black tea. Any damn thing that comes under the category of chai would have a distributive meaning. But when you say garam garam chai, that's talk about the adjective, which is a emphasizing or emphasis or assertion marking function that reduplication has. Okay, so in most of the cases, be it any given language, when the repetition of adjectives happen, that is mostly assertion marking or emphasis marking, and in case of nominal ones or the nouns, you can get distributive reading. Think about it again. Okay, so when you say chai vai, it's distributive. Anything comes under the category of chai would have a, so coffee can also be a chai there. A lot of Punjabi speakers say apples apple. So when you say apples apple, that means apple or the fruits related to apple. It could be a pear, it could be some other kinds of, like, primarily the pear or the apple shaped fruits would be coming under that category. So that would bring a distributive meaning. So as a Marathi speaker, as a native speaker of Marathi, you need to find out what is the primary function of reduplication in your language, whether it is more used in the adjective sense or in the nominal sense. If it is in the nominal sense, it's going to be many a times you would find distributive meaning, and if it is adjective centric, then it would primarily be assertion or the emphasis reading. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
All right. What else? I see another participant, Wahida. Do you have any question? Or else any other thing that you would like to ask?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, in the last assignment, if I'm not wrong, we were talking about if you say come, like if someone asks, may I come in? And if you say yes, so there yes means a sentence. So in the assignment, there was a word leave. I thought it's like I'm on leave, so it's a noun, but there are like it was a sentence. So
yeah, so when you say,
so it was a bit confusing. Leave, I thought it's a noun, but it was a sentence. Like leave it.
That's a good question. Very interesting. Why is it a sentence? What do you think? When you say leave, that means, what am I trying to say?
Leave it.
You leave. You leave from here.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
From that sense, I think, Aditya, you correct me if I'm wrong. Was the assignment did the assignment mean this? Either you say leave it or you say you leave. So when you just write leave and
yes,
full stop.
Sure. It meant it as a verb.
As a verb, yeah. So
okay.
and there what we dropped the pronominal, and the pronominal subject is dropped. Okay. In most of the in most of the words, when it's an imperative sentence, and it's the and the subject is a pronoun, we tend to drop it. So leave full stop means you leave. So it should be treated as a verb, not as a noun. Even if it is leave it, even if the example that you gave, when you say leave it means what? That is also a verb.
No, I thought, because as there was no full stop, I thought, okay, leave means I'm on leave. So that kind of leave, like noun leave. Yeah. Okay. Because there was no full stop, if I'm not wrong, after leave. So I thought it's a noun.
Okay, that could be. We'll check that maybe a little later. Aditya, please.
Because later I was about to include leave in sentence or it as a verb, but then, like, I don't know why I didn't pick it up.
It's okay. So just one point, that's fine. But you understand the concept.
No. Yeah, right? I understood after. Yes, I understand. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Anything else? Any other question? Let me check. The rest of the things I think I have answered. Yeah, I don't see any. Aditya, that was all in our discussion forum.
Yes, ma'am. I'm also checking the YouTube chat, but there aren't any questions there. So
where do you check the YouTube? Send a link here. Let me.
It's being streamed. So if you click on the stream button on the top left, you'll find it. Yes,
okay. Okay, I don't see any question there. There's only 2 participants, so that's all right.
Also, ma'am, can you please send the recording once the live session is over?
There aren't any questions there. So
okay, sure. Where do you check the YouTube? Send a link here. Let me. It's echoing. Stopped it. Okay, I'll. So then, whatever we have discussed here, that's anyway being recorded. So we'll share that. We'll share the link. Okay. That's it.
Yes.
There's no question. Should we end it here? Question or suggestion or anything that you
no we are enjoying it.
Okay, thank you.
We are enjoying the course.
How many lectures have been released by far? 9, I think. 9
I think week 8, like week 9 will go.
Is about to come. Yeah, week 9 is about.
It is about to come today, maybe, because today.
Yeah, the other thing I would like to put a disclaimer here. Towards the end, you would find out a lot of discussions on semantic and pragmatic typology, which by itself should be a full-fledged course. So it could very likely you would find some of the lectures are are quite fast, and the concepts which it wasn't paid enough attention what they deserve. And primarily the reason here is that when we conceptualize this course, we didn't really have it in mind. It would pragmatic and semantic typology would take. So like the other 3, syntactic, other 4, morphological, phonological, lexical, and syntactic typology itself should be like they themselves should be one course, and semantic and pragmatic should be the other one. So in case you find it a little, probably I'm speaking quite hastily, and then you are not able to catch the conceptual discussions that we have there, please write to me. Maybe I'll refer certain reading references if you want. But then by nature or by default, semantic and pragmatic typology should be a separate course altogether. So that's, pardon me. And then just those who are more interested, you can always read more. But the primary focus in this course has been on phonology, morphology, and syntax. So the word domain, sentence domain, and sound domain. And when I say morphology, I'm also bringing in the lexical typology out there. Semantic and pragmatic, semantic typology, pragmatic typology have not been paid they have not been given enough attention. And there's a reason for it. And hopefully we'll come up with another course which would primarily talk about pragmatics and its interface with semantics. So that's something I generally, this is the second time we are rerunning the course. And I said that in the very first time when the course was offered. So yeah, that's something you need to keep in mind. That's a disclaimer.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. I say
Actually,
it every year. Yeah, hi.
I had been enjoying this course from the beginning.
Thank you.
And
Thank you so much.
the way you speak, that is quite inspiring, and I too want to learn.
Yeah, so
like
maybe
the
you
same.
should use it as a as the stepping stone or something like that. And then
yeah, actually I'm doing MA English in IFLU distance
Okay.
learning.
I
So
see.
this
Yeah.
course has been very helpful for me.
I could understand from your question related to the English.
Only that part is what I'm lagging.
Yeah. So please
why I
refer to
asked.
these 2 books that I mentioned.
Yeah, sure.
Available online. You can download a PDF. Or Akmuji and Demer Farmer Hanish has it's PHI publication, but they have an Indian edition. which is not expensive, hardly a few bucks, like maybe 300 or 400, something like that. It's not very expensive because of the Indian edition that they have. Please get the book or try to find out if
can you just
I'll write here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. That would be very helpful.
I again forget the title. I think it's an introduction. Aditya, please find out. An introduction to language and communication, something like that. Language and communication. This is the title of the book. It's multi-authored. Akmerjian, Damer, Farmer, and Harnish. Let me see their link. Yeah, an introduction to language and communication. This is the one. I've written it correct. It's popularly known as Akmerjian, Damer, Farmer, and Harnish book. So look for online copies if they're available, or you can buy the Indian edition, which is which you should have. If you're interested for linguistics, you should have a copy of this one. And also George Hume.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Study of language. That's the book. I'm writing it here. I think in one of the videos I have already said that.
Is there any chance that there is any like post graduation from linguistics or something that would be
okay? I would keep that in mind for sure. I'll let you know. Just drop an email.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I don't know if I have seen like from many universities, but I don't know. I'm very much connected to this because you people are just giving us a video notes, along with
So the transcripts are also available, I guess.
Yes, I downloaded that one also.
Yeah,
and, that is very helpful. And
yeah.
main thing is I can easily understand what you are telling. It's not in a very grandeur language. It is not any flowery language. It is very.
I don't. I always believe in simple.
Yes. So because of that, I'm very much able to understand what exactly you are saying, and that has been very helpful. Like.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks to sort of.
True. You have to just lend your ears to ma'am, and then you can understand anything what she tells.
Thanks for the feedback. Yeah, this is a rerun of the course, and probably next time when it is being recorded, I would try to correct a couple of a bit more finesse is required. That's something I would put it on record. So probably next time if we make some corrections, we would add a little more about Indian the data from Indian languages. You wouldn't find a lot from Indian languages. So maybe there is I'll make an effort to bring in more data. Probably when
that's interesting.
When I offer the pragmatic typology and semantic typology as a separate course, but that probably that will take a couple of more years, at least 2 years. It should be made available. Okay, just keep an eye. That's it.
Yes, sure.
Okay, thank you. If there is no question, we can end the session.
Yes, I think we can end.
Okay. So
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, and keep studying, and then do answer the assignments, take up seriously, and then do make sure that you understand the concepts.
Actually, I had a question about these assignments, ma'am.
Please go ahead.
After the end of every session, there is an assignment, and that is like multiple choice questions, and even there are assignments which are given in a question form, and how are we to submit them? Like if we want to write the assignments, how can we write and how can we submit?
We no, generally for this course we are giving multiple choice, right? Quizzes, yeah, multiple choice answers. So if there is a written assignment, I have never at least given the written assignment. Probably the NPTEL people can clarify that. Aditya, do you have any idea? Did the TAs
I think
ever
it is in
work on the
the
written?
Indian writing in English in that there is
Okay,
an
no,
assignment.
I'm clueless. I really don't know how do they do it, because this course is running for the third time, and every time we have given only multiple choice, because my course is more about understanding the concepts. So if you understand the concepts, you can answer the questions. Yeah, so probably they would give you a link to write and upload. So maybe something like that happens.
I had been so ambitious right from starting of this that I had joined myself in many of the courses like related
Yes,
to English,
right.
uh,
Yeah, yeah.
history of language and Indian
That's good.
writing in English, Indian poetics, and
That's
everything
really nice.
that are
Yeah.
related. And I'm very much enthusiastic in learning all through my life. Already half of my life is finished, and the next half I will continue in this
Learning should not
learning.
stop. Learning
Yes.
shouldn't stop. So that's something
Yeah.
we all should follow. What I understand, if there is a written, like, there's paragraphs you have to write for the assignment, probably they would give you a link where you can write and submit. Either you write it on a sheet of paper, click a picture, and upload it as a JPG file, or you type it and then upload it as a doc or a PDF. Not difficult. These things are not difficult. We intentionally kept it multiple choice because first thing is that it's more conceptual, like technical terms we use. So once you understand that, it should be easier for you to come up with the answer. And the TAs are doing great. All the, like, last three times, all the TAs they have been really good to come up with very interesting questions. So the team is working fine. So I'm sure the participants are enjoying it.
Yeah, we have to thank every person who is
Yeah,
behind this and how they are putting this into, and
yeah.
this is really great.
Yeah,
Enjoying
it's a
whatever
wonderful system that that
whatever courses
NPTEL
we are
offers.
in.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am,
Thank you then. Yeah, please.
yes, I have
Please.
just last question,
Yeah,
one
yeah.
last
Please
question.
go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead. Please,
I'm also appearing for the exam for this
you're
course.
appearing for
So
the exam. Yeah,
yes. So when we will get to know
I
about
will
the
do
exam
that. Okay.
paper
So what
pattern and
happens generally?
okay.
This is the way I function. Since I just have a handful of participants for the exams. I do take another live towards the end of the course. Okay,
Okay.
so what I've heard, probably the course ends on 23rd of October or something.
I think a week before, because on 23rd we are having exam, if I'm not wrong.
You have the exam on
22nd or
23rd.
23rd.
Third, you have the exam, right? So a week before it should end. So probably I'll plan for another live by second week of the second week of October, so that the most of the lectures would be done by then, and I'll discuss previous year question paper as a
Okay.
sample. As a
What
sample.
are the
Yes.
centers that we can write these examinations?
I really don't have these information. These are, technical things. Aditya, could you respond to this? Do you have any information about it?
Yes, ma'am. So the
Centers?
registration is still open. It has been extended to register for the final exam. So if you still haven't, then you can refer to the latest email that they sent, the NPTEL sent on the announced mailing list. So you would have gotten that registration email.
Yeah,
You
I
can
got
use that.
But only what I wanted to ask you is like, what are the places
Centers.
from where we can give the
Centers, right?
examination?
Centers,
Yeah,
right? So
centers.
if you start registering, there'll be a point in the process where they'll list all the centers that you can pick one of them, whichever is most convenient. You have to pick 3 cities, I believe. So out of which the first preference, third, second preference, third preference, like that, and you can pick one of the cities from. There are a lot of centers actually. There must be more than 50 cities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it should be closer to your place. And then give the choices, and they should allot the one that is suitable for both the candidate and the NPTEL people. Yeah, should be.
Yeah, actually, we live very interior, so That is the reason why I'm asking. Given Orissa and that is, I don't know the place also, it is Vasundhara or something. So it is very interior.
Okay,
So,
but I think this process hasn't started yet, right, Aditya? The center selection and other stuff?
No, they haven't allotted centers, I
haven't.
believe, but yeah, you can pick your centers right now when you
Wait
register.
for a while, and then you should choose something that would be most convenient to you. Okay.
okay.
Yeah, so probably you should hear from NPTEL very soon. And I would come for another live to discuss a sample paper and also anything that generally whoever is interested to write the exam and then would like to know conceptual details, you can always attend that. Advait, you should wait until probably second week of October. Maybe on a Saturday, I'll take a session on this. Yeah, where we can talk about any queries that you have and a question paper that we can discuss.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. See you soon.
Okay, thank you. That's it. Should we leave now? Any other questions?
I have a question, ma'am.
Madhushri. Okay, hi. Yeah, hello. Please tell me.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Yeah.
Ma'am, you are telling me regarding the syntactic typology. You were always telling us, but regarding morphological typology, you were always telling us that we should look after our own language, our own mother tongue, and see which language they fit into in the acceptable hierarchy.
Yeah. Which type?
Yeah, which type they fit into.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, so we should need to go to the grammar of Bangla in order to see in which language they are fitting, isn't it? So we should.
You should know. Grammar. When you say, my suggestion for you would be you should know how your language functions. Like what is the structural pattern of your language and how the native speakers use it.
Ma'am, grammar is also a way to probe into it, isn't it, ma'am?
But unless you know the structural components or let's say the grammatical pattern of your language, how would you compare or how would you find out which type does it belong to?
Yeah, ma'am, I will take the spoken language into consideration. But apart from that, shall I consult a good Bangla grammar book also?
Would be better, would be an added advantage, of course. But unfortunately, the problem is most of our grammar books, they follow prescriptive method, prescriptive rules, which are not the best way to to write a grammar of any language. So since we do not have enough grammar books which would exploit descriptive tools, you can always refer to the available books, but do not restrict yourself with the available books. That's what I would rather suggest. Okay. Besides the prescriptive rules that have been that are available in the market or you have an access to, you should also look for, as a speaker, what sort of variations do you have.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and depending on that variation, you try to find out which category would your language be a part of in typology. Do not restrict yourself in either of the ways. Look for the prescriptive grammar books to have a basic understanding of a system, and then explore what kind of variations you have in your language. So if you keep both the things in mind, I'm not very sure if I talked about, there is something called exploratory adequacy. So descriptive adequacy, descriptive adequacy, and then the other one is exploratory adequacy. These two should be our focus of attention. So not only the rules, but also the variations that one might have when you speak a language. So if you consider both, that's going to be.
Ma'am, another question that is quite out of the way, ma'am.
Please go ahead. Any question is welcome.
It is quite out of the way. I'm very sorry for that, ma'am. But I just want to tell you, ma'am, after doing this course, later on, it may be in future, may we apply for a doctorate in IIT Madras, ma'am?
You can apply for doctorate at IIT Madras with a degree.
If I am interested in doing a typology in a degree under your guidance, shall we go for that, ma'am?
No, but like I wouldn't say not to apply. Anyone can apply if you have the basic degree. And this course should be an added advantage to it, but this is not any requirement as such. It's not a primary requirement. So you can always apply. What's no,
ma'am. Yeah, since you told that this may be an added advantage. So
No. Added advantage in terms of the knowledge, gaining the knowledge, having the knowledge about it. It's not, there is no added advantage related to the administrative requirements that a PhD program would need. Okay. So it's just that you get to know a couple of things more about linguistic typology, but it wouldn't be counted as a mandatory qualification. It doesn't add anything to your qualification.
Okay.
It definitely adds. Ideally it should add, or it should enrich you in terms of the
Knowledge system,
linguistics.
our knowledge system. Yeah, that's true, ma'am. That's true. Thank you
So,
ma'am.
but about PhD program, anyone can apply with a degree in linguistics or related areas.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so most welcome to apply. That's nobody stops you to do that. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So I think we should stop it here if we don't have any other question.
No, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, and happy learning. Keep listening to the lectures, attend the assignments, and I'll see you again by mid-October. I'll find out, and then maybe on a Saturday I'll have a
Because ma'am, we have our exam on 23rd October.
23rd, yeah. So
we have our exam on 23rd, so we have registered for that.
Sure, I have. I'll give you at least a week's time before we wind up.
Preparation.
Yeah, before we wind up the course. So I'll probably towards the end of the first week of October or mid-October, something like that.
And ma'am, we will be having enough time because already video 9 has been uploaded. So we have 2 more weeks to go because we have in total 11 weeks. It's the 11-week course.
Okay.
So we have 2 more weeks, so we will be having plenty of time.
Plenty of time. All right. So I should plan for another live by 15th or 16th of October, something. We'll update.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Very much.
Okay. Best wishes from all of us, and then those who are writing the exam, do read Moravsek, Yule, and Akmerjian. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Ma'am, shall we?
Yes. Thank you for attending the session, everyone.